Most of you have seen the so-called electric car sales figures of mainstream automakers. They've been miserling you by giving you false information. Very hard to tell truth from fiction. Why? Because they're saying plug-in hybrids and hybrids, they're EVs as well. Trust us, they're EVs. That's why we'll put them in with our EV sales and just tell you there's one big number, and it makes it look like we're making lots of EVs, when really, we're not. And that, my friends, is about to change. Here's why. Hello and welcome to the channel. Great to see you guys. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back everyone else. I've been up all night researching so many freaking things. My brain is fried, but you guys need to know what's really going on. I've been saying this for a long time, and some of you have as well. These so-called electric vehicle sales are very misleading, but that will change soon. And then we'll have a clearer picture of what's really going on. Why is it about to change? Well, here is why. Carmakers' global emissions are on average 50% higher than what they report, with Hyundai, Kia and BMW underreporting emissions by as much as 115% and 80% respectively. A new Transport and Environmental T&E report shows. Now, Clean Technica reported on this. Thank you guys. But you guys have been part of this kind of misleading thing as well with your sales figures you've been reporting, which are great. Great to see the individual sales figures numbers, because then we can see the actual electric vehicle sales figures. But everyone's been baffled. Everyone's been saying to me, Viking, I don't understand. The top 20 best-selling electric cars. I mean, none of them are from Volks. Okay, the ID4 sometimes makes the top 20, sometimes. But other than that, none of them are from any legacy automakers. Why is it that BMW is selling so many electric cars? I don't understand. This is the key reason, because they're claiming hybrids, plug-in hybrids, as part of their electric vehicle sales, and that's being presented. So the truth is that realistically, they're not making anywhere near as many EVs as you think. But, right, what is about to happen to these companies is their plug-in hybrid sales are going down already, but they're about to hit the floor because plug-in hybrid incentives are going to be abolished for this exact reason here. Lies. Lies and more lies. Unfortunately, yeah, I sound negative today, don't I? I do. Sorry, guys. But if they're lying, they're lying. I just have to call it out. And they are. All these so-called ridiculous figures they're giving. BMW, yes, you are big time doing this, but so are many other car companies, to be fair, on BMW. Plug-in hybrid. Look at their emissions. Miraculous emissions, miraculous performance. I mean, realistically, they pretend when they give out these so-called emissions and actual economy figures, they pretend that their cars can do 1,000 kilometers using, 10 liters of fuel. Of course they can't. I mean, realistically, BYD's plug-in hybrids, a lot of them can do 200 kilometers of real-world range. There's quite a lot of cars in China you can buy that will give you 200 kilometers of real-world range using the battery pack. There's very few of those in Europe, right? The majority of those cars will do maybe 30 to 40 kilometers, and then they switch over to simply using petrol power. And then they're using 10 liters per 100, and then their emissions are much higher than claimed. So Germany has said enough's enough. The UK has already done it. It's already eliminated plug-in hybrid incentives. Germany's about to eliminate them. It begins in January. And this is the key reason why. In 2023, the EU will introduce a requirement that financial institutions disclose their Scope 3 emissions, indirect emissions, and this new requirement will hit asset managers with exposure to car makers hard. Unlike manufacturers of furniture or mobile phones, the vast majority, 98% of a car company's emissions come under Scope 3. Clean Technica says, as T&E's analysis shows, car makers' already high Scope 3 emissions are likely far larger than officially reported. Luca Bonacorsi, Director of Sustainable Finance at T&E, said, for green investing to be effective, we need accurate data. Car makers are trying to pull the wool over investors' eyes by underreporting the lifetime emissions of their cars. This makes a mockery of car makers' green claims. Car makers base their total reported emissions on a number of factors, such as the average size of the vehicles, where the cars are driven, and the lifespan of vehicles. Car makers on the whole have used selective data to reach a lower figure. Toyota, for example, bases the lifetime average emissions of its vehicles on a scarcely believable 100,000 kilometers. This makes car companies from an investing perspective almost as carbon intensive as the oil industry. At today's prices, $1 million invested in an average of oil giants ExxonMobil, BP and Shell finances around 5,000 tonne of CO2 equivalent. The same amount finances more than 4,500 CO2s in the car sector. So basically, if you invest in the car sector, if it's in a company other than a purely electric car company, you're just investing in oil. It's almost identical. In some cases, the carbon intensity of car makers is significantly higher, nearly 10,000 tonnes if invested in the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi alliance, 7,000 tonnes for Honda. Next is Ford, followed by Volkswagen, Stellantis, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, and BMW. Lucas said, according to official disclosure, a euro invested in a car company finances virtually the same amount of carbon as a euro in an oil company. This should be a wake-up call for the financial industry. Asset managers wanting to avoid a ticking carbon bomb will have to start ditching car makers that continue to sell polluting cars. Many of you guys have been telling me in the comments, I've seen these comments, you're telling me, oh, Tesla's, I told you guys, Tesla will make $1.4 billion this year from doing nothing. Sweet FA. Nothing. Right? What does that mean? Well, I made a video talking about how other car companies are buying Tesla's car credits so they avoid fines in China and Europe. And that's how Tesla makes that $1.4 billion, by buying Tesla's credits. So Tesla sells something that they get for nothing, and those car companies avoid fines. But the truth is, right, this is not about to end. You guys, I got told many years ago this would end. I got told, 3 or 4 years ago by the mainstream media, it was going to end any minute, right? I can find you the articles from 2018 and 2019 that said that would end. Guess what? It's at its highest ever in 2022. You really think it's going to end next year, right? When all these car companies magically start making way more EVs? Hang on a minute. All the EVs we thought they were making, well, a lot of them are not actually EVs. They're plug-in hybrids, which will no longer be incentivized and may actually be classified for what they do. Pollute. Yes, they do pollute. I'm sorry, they do. Therefore, that means these companies will have to pay Tesla even to sell a plug-in hybrid. That's worth considering. Is Tesla's free money going to magically go away next year? I don't think so. So what's happening here is this. Car makers are basically lying to us on two fronts. One is the lifetime emissions of a car. Toyota says its lifetime emissions are 100,000 kilometers. In other words, Toyota's saying everyone who buys a Toyota is scrapping it after it's done 100,000 kilometers. That's clearly false. The Chinese government and the European Union are not going to continue to fall for this nonsense. In addition to that, the fact that car makers are saying their emissions for their lifetime is way less than what they actually are. The other thing is they're also doing the same thing with plug-in hybrids. They're saying that their plug-in hybrids have miraculous drive forever on battery power, even though the battery only lasts for 40 kilometers emissions, which they clearly do not. We're all smart enough to work that out. So the European Union, they're cutting incentives for plug-in hybrids. How many people are going to buy a plug-in hybrid when they no longer get a $7,000 or a 7,000 euro incentive, but they do get it for an EV? Well, yeah. Yes, it's true. Some of these manufacturers will ramp up EV production next year. But how much do you really think they're going to ramp it up when they don't make a profit selling EVs yet and won't for at least a few more years? How much can they realistically afford to ramp up EV production? Will they do a General Motors and say, oh, no, sorry, we've changed our minds. We were going to deliver 400,000 EVs next year. We promised it, but now it's 400,000 over the course of 2.5 years. That's a big difference. I think it's pretty likely a lot of them will follow GM. Let me know, though, what you think in the comments section below. Are you surprised to hear this report, this information? Personally, I'm not, but I'm definitely disappointed. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.